All right, we're joined in studio by the guys from House Brewing. Thanks for coming in.
Cheers. Thanks for having us.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
You're going to be featured tomorrow at the Hudson River Craft Beer Festival. You excited about that?
Very much looking forward to it.
All right, nice. We've got some really, really good beers to look forward to, and you guys have one. I want to start off by talking about this because it's there are two things that I like to nerd out about: history and beer. So if you can combine the two, then
we
I
put
can
them in the same glass for you.
Be in full-on nerd bliss. It's the Albany Ale that you guys have been brewing. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, so Albany Ale was a year and a half of nerdism, of us, looking through archives, books, and we actually got our hands on a brewing log from Matthew Vassar from 1841. His log. So we went through it with a fine-tooth comb and recreated that beer on our system. And, we're really super proud of it. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows, but Matthew Vassar was like Mr. Beer back in those days. That's how the family made their fortune.
Yeah, it's where Vassar College wouldn't exist without the local Hudson Valley brewing, right? I mean, it's
absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah. And, my mom was a graduate of Vassar.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we really brought it home, to be able to brew this beer.
So what was interesting about what he was doing compared to today? Were there any significant differences? Is it pretty much the same?
Ingredients are different. So there's modern techniques, that weren't around in 1850 that process our malt and process a lot of different things. Even water. Water's handled in Poughkeepsie a lot differently these days than it was in 1850.
Which is probably a good thing now that we think about it.
Absolutely. But beer's always safe. So
yeah, that's true. That's what I always tell people. When we talk about home brewing, and I do a little bit of myself, we talk about it a fair amount on the show, and people ask me, well, I haven't done it before. What if I mess it up? I'm like, the beauty of beer, you really can't.
That's it, man.
You can't really get sick from drinking it unless you drink too much of it. So that's a beautiful thing. And that's really interesting. I like that. And what's cool is I think the beauty of the old beers that I love, the stuff that I love about the historical stuff, is that so much of it was based in where that beer came from. Because they didn't have trucks driving across the country bringing them anything. And so each beer of each region was going to reflect where it came from.
Absolutely, and hence that's another reason. It wasn't just about Matthew. It was a little even bigger. I mean, it's an Albany Ale is the style of beer. So this was a style that was getting brewed from Albany down here. So this is really a traditional Hudson Valley style of beer, which is, really exciting. I mean, I've been around a lot of places, and, to have a beer style from that area, you've made it in the beer world.
No,
so
it's huge.
I think Albany Ale puts us on the map.
That's awesome. So is that something that you guys try to prioritize, putting local ingredients, doing as much as you can to use fresh stuff in your beer?
Yeah, you better believe it. I mean, this beer really celebrates the Hudson River and the Erie Canal. If it wasn't for those two waterways, this beer would not have watered many New York City immigrants and the general population in the 1850s. So, this definitely celebrates our local culture as well as our resources.
Which is awesome. Now, we're talking so much, we're hyping this beer up. I'm sure people are going to want to try this beer, but there's a little caveat. They're going to be coming up to you on Saturday, and they're going to see what you're pouring. Now, first of all, what beers are you going to be pouring on Saturday at the Hudson River Craft Beer Fest?
We're going to be pouring our Kilt Spinner, which is a Scotch strong ale or a Scottish wee heavy, 8% malty sweetness.
Love that
yumminess, secondary oak fermentation for, just that great cask flavor, vanilla notes, scrumptious beer, a popular one at the brew pub. People won't come in and make reservations if the beer's not on tap. And then we'll also be pouring our Alpha Camo, which is a twist on our Alpha Ale, which is an American amber. Normally we would dry hop the beer. Instead of dry hopping it this time, we've actually dry flowered it, and we've dry flowered it with chamomile. So it's got this great little tannic note to it. The chamomile and the lemon character of the Centennial hops in the beer just really comes together to create just a great flavor. So it's a very cool beer.
It's so refreshing. I tried it, and it might sound weird or intimidating, chamomile and beer. To me, when I was drinking it, I was like, this is like a beer version of an Arnold Palmer. This is like a refreshing, summery kind of just really, really easy to drink beer. So that one people can look forward to. But the Albany Ale, you guys going to have that. I know it was brewed in limited quantities.
So, what happened with the Albany is it was really embraced. And Larry and I put that thing on tap, and I think 3 days later we looked at each other and we're like, we got to brew this again. So right now there is no Albany Ale pouring at Millhouse, but there is one keg left in existence, which we will be bringing.
One tiny little keg,
which we will be bringing to the festival this weekend. So
We need to find a way to get people who are in the know. So if they come up to you and they say, and Deuce told me about this beer.
I think that might be the only way they can get it.
That sounds good to me.
All right.
I just like being a part of a top secret operation.
Absolutely.
That's my whole dream in life, is to be part of something like that.
Just don't stand in front of our tent screaming your own name.
You know me way too well, okay? Guys, thanks. They can come to Mill House, which is right there on Mill Street in Poughkeepsie. Try out all of your beers. It's not only a great place for beer, but the food is just absolutely top-notch, too. Nice. So you get an opportunity to try it out, but if you want to try the beer, come on out to the Hudson River Craft Beer Fest on Saturday, tomorrow, and we'll have a great time. So thanks for coming in, guys. Really appreciate it.
Right
Thanks
on.
for having us.
Thanks for having us.